Have you ever really paused and asked yourself if XRP was ever truly meant for everyday retail investors to own? Or if from the very beginning it was designed for something much bigger behind the scenes? Because when you look at the institutions Ripple has been working with, the financial giants they have partnered with, and the way the XRP ledger has been positioned inside the global financial system, it naturally raises the question of whether retail was ever the intended audience at all. And today we're going to break that down completely while also covering something incredibly strange and fascinating that happened earlier involving XRP and a very powerful figure in the financial world that might make you wonder if this entire XRP journey has been part of a much larger plan all along. So make sure you stay with me till the end. Hey guys, welcome back to Whiteboard Crypto Update. In today's video, we'll talk about XRP. So be sure to stay focused, as you surely don't want to miss out on this. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications by hitting the bell so you never miss any of our uploads. This video is for educational purposes only. It is not financial advice. Always do your own research before making any investment decisions. Now, when we talk about whether XRP was built for retail, we need to look at Ripple's strategy from the very beginning, because their focus has always been very different from most crypto projects. While the rest of the industry chased retail hype, apps, NFTs, and meme coins, Ripple focused on institutions, cross-border payments, selling enterprise software, working with central banks, and even holding early meetings with the Federal Reserve, which already tells us a lot about who this technology was really designed for. And in my opinion, XRP was never primarily built for everyday users sending small payments to friends or trying to make quick speculative gains. Instead, it was created for massive money flows, global liquidity, back-end financial infrastructure, and connecting currencies across borders. And although anyone can technically use XRP, there is a big difference between something being accessible to retail and something being designed specifically for retail, because the earliest creators of the XRP ledger openly talked about building a system for all the money, for central bank settlements, international value transfers, and creating efficient financial rails between countries, which are things retail investors rarely think about, but financial institutions absolutely care about. And Ripple understood early on that Bitcoin and many other cryptocurrencies could never meet the speed, scalability, and efficiency requirements that banks needed. So they built something entirely new to solve those institutional problems and usher in a new layer of global finance. However, this brings up an important question. If XRP wasn't designed for retail, then why were everyday people able to buy it so early and so easily? And the answer lies in what I believe was a classic chicken and egg problem. Because financial institutions didn't want to be the first to adopt this new technology without proof. They wanted to see liquidity, stability, transaction volume, stress testing, and real-world usage over time. And that's where retail investors unknowingly stepped in and played a massive role. Because retail bootstrapped the XRP ecosystem, we created the early liquidity, we tested the network, we pushed transaction throughput, and we proved the technology could last and function at scale, essentially becoming the testing ground that allowed Ripple to later walk into major institutions and say, look, this system works. It's been live, it's been used, and it's proven itself. And without retail doing that early heavy lifting, institutional adoption would have likely taken much longer if it happened at all. So while XRP may not have been built with retail as the main target user, retail played a critical role in launching the entire ecosystem and making it viable for the big players to eventually step in. And because we were early adopters who took the time to learn how this technology works, follow the partnerships, understand the financial integration, and watch the infrastructure being built from the ground up, we now have a level of understanding that most of the world simply doesn't have yet. Because the truth is that blockchain and digital assets will eventually be integrated into banking systems, payment apps, and financial products without everyday people even realizing it. Just like most people use the internet today without knowing how servers, protocols, or backend systems work, but the XRP community has witnessed this financial revolution being built piece by piece and understands where it's headed. And that puts us in a very unique position compared to people who will only discover XRP later through ETFs or mainstream exposure. Someone recently asked me if people buying XRP through ETFs in the future will experience massive gains. And my response was that they might pick up a few shares here and there, but they won't be coming in with the conviction, knowledge, and position sizes that the XRP community has spent years building, because most new investors treat it like a small speculative bet rather than a long-term belief in a financial transformation. And history shows us that the real wealth isn't built by people chasing quick trades. It's built by those who deeply understand a revolution early on, just like during the dot-com bubble when many people traded Amazon for quick profits. But the ones who truly became wealthy were those who studied the internet, believed in its future, held through volatility, and invested with conviction. And that's exactly what the XRP community has been doing by understanding the technology, watching the institutional involvement, and building long-term confidence in where this system is going. Now, before we wrap up, there's something that happened today that honestly caught me off guard and adds another layer to this entire story. Earlier today, Judy Shelton, who is a former Treasury official and has even been discussed as a potential Federal Reserve appointee, someone who is extremely respected in economic and monetary policy circles, commented on an XRP-related post on X, and this wasn't just any post. It included well-known XRP community figures like Bearable Guy and Mr. Pool, along with references to Larry Kudlow, all pushing the idea of XRP being a critical component of the next-generation financial system. And Judy Shelton responded by saying, "Thanks for the nice reminder from great colleagues." And what makes this so interesting is that this isn't even the first time she has engaged with XRP content. She has commented on XRP-related topics multiple times before. And when you connect this with Ripple's early meetings with the Federal Reserve back in 2013, their discussions with central banks in 2014, and their early work with organizations like the IMF and the BIS, it really starts to paint a bigger picture that this isn't just a group of retail investors chasing a dream. There appears to be a massive institutional movement happening behind the scenes building new financial rails for the future, and people at the highest levels of finance clearly know about it, see where it's headed, and are paying attention, while retail investors have been quietly learning, accumulating, and connecting the dots over the years. And for many people, those early Ripple connections were already enough proof that something big was coming. But seeing someone like Judy Shelton actively watching and engaging with the XRP community only strengthens the idea that XRP is much bigger than most people realize, and that this entire journey may have been part of a long-term transformation of the global financial system that is now slowly unfolding in front of us. Well, guys, that's all we have for you today. What are your thoughts on XRP? Get involved and let us know in the comments down below. If you guys like this video, then be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Thank you for watching.